Well, I started playing in like 2008 when I got the original quad stick that was made. It looks a lot different than this one by far. But I played for a lot of years just in the basement in my bedroom on my own, just with buddies or without buddies, just no internet, social medias or nothing like that. And then one day my brother just came to me and said that he's been playing with a bunch of Twitch streamers and that he thought maybe I should try it. And I streamed for about 2 weeks before I realized that like this is something big's happening here.
Rocky Stoutenburgh, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Thanks for joining us. So for our audience, I wonder if you could just start off by saying a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, what you do, and any fun facts we should know.
Yeah, my name's Rocky Stoutenburgh. I'm from Southeast Michigan, just a few minutes south of Detroit. And I'm basically a content creator. I play video games online and I post it all over social medias as a content creator for Luminosity Gaming.
That's amazing. What made you start into gaming professionally, I suppose?
Well, in about 2006, I broke my neck and became paralyzed from the neck down. And for a few years there, I didn't really have much to do. And my brother was scouring the internet trying to find something for quadriplegics to do. And he found a device called the quad stick. Actually, right here, if you guys can see it. That's how I play video games, use my computer. And I just started playing video games in about 2008 till now on the quad stick. And a couple years after I started using the quad stick, my brother was like, you should try streaming on the internet. It's getting pretty big. And I think a lot of people would be like mind blown at how good you are. He just thought that like they would be inspired. And I tried it for about a week and it just went crazy. And from there, I've just been streaming ever since.
Wow, you just said a mouthful there. Let's unpack that for a second. 2006. How old were you in 2006?
In 2006, I was 19 years old.
So at 19 years old, you had an incident where you severed your spinal cord. How'd you do that?
I was hanging out with my buddies at a party, and we just were wrestling around on a mattress, goofing off, and I got dropped on my head, and my head got stuck in the mattress, and I broke my neck, and went to the hospital, and woke up a couple weeks later, and was paralyzed from the neck down.
Oh my gosh. And your brother, so there was obviously a recovery time, I suppose. How long after that did your brother discover that people were streaming on their video games on a show very similar to what you're doing? How long did it take to come up with that sort of outlet?
Yeah, definitely. I was in the hospital for about 2 months, I think, and I went home right away. I was, most people are in there for a lot longer than I was, but I was just ready to get out. So I got out of there and went home and quickly found out that there wasn't many things for me to do in 2008 or 2006, I'm sorry, as a quadriplegic. So I just spent the next 2 years watching TV and staring at the sun, and then my brother, he wasn't happy with the way I was living my life and what I was doing every day. And he wanted to find something that I could do and also do with him like we used to when we were younger. And he found the quad stick on the internet and he just basically forced me to get it. He was like, you got to try it. If anyone can be good at it, it's you.
That's amazing. Is that an older brother, younger brother?
Younger brother. He's just a year younger than me though.
Nice. That's a good brother.
Yeah, sometimes he thinks he's the older brother, but
yeah. Well, you gotta show him who's boss. That's great. What was like your favorite game back then? I used to game a little bit back in those times.
Well, growing up, I played a lot of like multiplayer games with my brother, but when I got the quad stick, the very first game I played was Halo Wars, which is like a really simple one joystick needed type game. So I started off very easy and then I slowly worked my way into harder like FPS type games.
And what made you when did you decide to start recording yourself playing the games? Right away?
Well, I started playing in like 2008 when I got the original quad stick that was made. It looks a lot different than this one by far. But I played for a lot of years just in the basement in my bedroom on my own, just with buddies or without buddies, just no internet, social medias or nothing like that. And then one day my brother just came to me and said that he's been playing with a bunch of Twitch streamers and that he thought maybe I should try it. And I streamed for about 2 weeks before I realized that like this is something big's happening here, because I'm getting a lot of viewers and I'm getting a lot of messages from people asking me what's that device, where can I get one, or people just saying that I'm inspiring them or motivating them to do something, or just the fact that I'm not shy to be on the camera in the position I'm in, and that they are. It gave them like the push to start streaming themselves.
Absolutely. I imagine that's, very inspiring, especially for someone who's going through a similar thing, who maybe never made it off of the couch or didn't, hear that suggestion for gaming or even know about the quad stick. This is the first time I've ever seen it. I know that's not the original generation, but that's amazing that you can play Halo with one of those and other games as well.
I don't think there's a game yet I haven't been able to master or almost master.
That's fantastic. That's really cool. I guess I'm wondering with Twitch, was it a slow build, or I'm not super familiar with Twitch, frankly, but is it like I assume, I know you play games and people kind of watch you comment on it or just watch you play, or and like what were some of the, like, what was essentially like your theme or any of that?
Well, I started streaming on Twitch just as like a hobby, just to see what would happen, because my brother thought it would be a good idea. And then I started to realize that, there's people that talk to you while you're playing in chat, and then you start building like a community, you start making friends, you start, when you don't show up to stream, people start wondering where you're at. You got people that care about you, and so then it just turns into like a big giant family kind of people that you're either talking to, hanging out with. I found my girlfriend through gaming on Twitch, and a couple of my best friends that I've met, through the internet, that now I know in real life, that have, I've had parties where people have come from like California, New York, Florida, and we've all met up and hung out. So there's a lot of gamers out there, and then people looking for friends, Yeah,
absolutely. I love the online community aspect. We find our organization here at Childhood Cancer Society is a completely remote one, and almost everyone, 99% of the people who are part of the foundation, all met remotely through job postings and Discord and all the rest. It's a whole new world. I think we're about the same age, and I remember growing up in the 90s, you certainly it was the opposite, right? Like you weren't supposed to make friends on the internet. That was a big no-no. You get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, no, definitely. Back then you couldn't even save your game, so.
Right, exactly. It's an interesting turn life has taken, for sure. I think it's for the best, though. I think it's actually really good for connecting with people who have like minds. But are there any memorable interactions that you'd like to mention that you can recall?
Oh yeah, we've had interactions that are memorable to me are things like our buddy had cancer in his throat, so we all streamed and like held this huge event where we did all these challenges to help raise money for him because he couldn't work at the time. And we actually went to high school together, so we know him. He's also a gamer, so just things like that. Or there's been big moments in our community where people have had kids, or people have met up together where we're all hanging out and having like a huge Halloween party or stuff like that. It's always pretty fun to get to see the faces of the people that you spend hours and hours talking to on the internet,
That's actually a great point. We try to do a similar thing too, where we have people coming from all over for specific events that we have here, fundraisers or whatnot. It's so cool to see people in real life that you've developed like friendships, multi-year long friendships, and then not meet in real life until a moment. I bet that's very special. We can sympathize with that. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. I mean, I met my girlfriend playing Fortnite, and she's from Australia, so I didn't see her for like a year until I met her at the airport, and was like, it's crazy how just like you can see someone 1,000 times on a camera and it's just different in real life. They're just totally different looking.
So that community is definitely great, but has it ever been, and it's obviously your rock, but have there been any challenges that you've had within your community? And if so, how have you overcome them?
Yeah, I've definitely had challenges just in things in terms of like, there's a lot of negative people on the internet for sure, and it's hard to deal with. Someone in my situation, it's obviously like easy to make fun of me than it is, someone else who's not in my situation, which that just comes to, having a good support around you, good community that always reminds you that you're the greatest, I guess, pumps you up, So I streamed on Twitch for about 3-4 years before I started looking around to other platforms, and now I just stream on TikTok mostly every day. I'm just a TikTok streamer now, where the community is just as toxic, but it's a lot just a bigger, I've like grown hundredfolds being on TikTok than being on Twitch. So it's been a crazy year for me.
It's awesome, and we're very happy for your success. That's a great method for growth and getting the word out there, and you obviously are inspiring a lot of people. And forget the naysayers. There's always going to be people out there who are trolling or what have you, and whether it's with someone who's in your situation or another situation or no situation at all, I always feel that it reflects more of how they feel about themselves than really anything to do with any other person.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot, at least minimum 2 messages a day I get from people on the internet, either saying, you know, thank you for what I'm doing, or how inspired they are, or just if I post something that isn't positive, they'll message me and be like, hey, are you all right? Or hey, here's my number if you want to call me. And I'm just like, whoa, people are like, you know, very generous or very like caring, someone they never met just over the internet. And that's awesome to know that you got people like that.
That's been our experience too. I feel like 99 out of 100 people are just great or want to be great or good. And there's, you know, every here and there you'll get your 1 in 100 or whatever the number is. But it's great that you have that support system and that community to help you through those difficult times. Are there any other organizations now? I know you have the Discord and the Twitch and TikTok, but I'm wondering if there's been any like formal organizations that have helped you during you know, your recovery time, and just even like you know, you hear a lot about like mental health these days, and people are, you know, giving that a lot of attention to fighting depression or whatever the situation may be. Are there any groups that you've found support in aside from social media?
I'm a big a family person. I've got a very close family, so I know family is like the number one thing when it comes to just anyone to, like, you know, you got your family first, and you got your friends, and then you got the internet, and then, you know, you got to find a program or, you know, therapist or something. Nowadays, I think that's like a very big thing for kids. I think all kids should, you know, have a therapist or someone they could talk to on the side that, you know, isn't involved in their life and can give them advice and stuff like that. That's a big thing that is growing, and I think it should definitely start growing more. But for me, at the time, it's just family. I got a lot of stuff going on. I kind of don't even have time to worry about feeling bad or sad, because I'm just having so much positive stuff going on right now that I'm kind of on like a high. So right now it's not so much of an issue for me as it would have been in the past, but in the past I definitely think that I would have benefited from having something like that, and I wish I would have definitely looked into it.
Yeah, I mean, especially now, I mean, you know, I imagine one of the main issues with therapy that a lot of people have is like going, because it's such a, you know, it's a hassle. You got to get in the car, commute, and now they have a lot of new innovations. I noticed a lot more popped up over the COVID lockdowns, where you can just online speak to somebody, and if you don't have a good rapport with that person, you can probably swipe left. I don't know, I haven't messed with the program yet, but I think that's all really important. You need to have the proper mindset in order to live, you know, as fulfilling of a life as you can, and that's super important. But it's great that you're getting that from family and friends, and from your own personal network. That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. A couple of my buddies and even my brother actually just started going to see therapists, and have gone to a couple, and they're all they've said is like positive stuff so far. So definitely something people should be looking into.
Yeah, even as just a sounding board, it's always helpful to have someone you can bounce something off of like that, for sure.
Definitely, even like some of them are doing it through Zoom and stuff, so like you don't even have to leave your house.
Exactly. One of the main deterrents, I would say. Are there any strategies that you use or techniques to focus on staying positive specifically in your life?
The things I use are just basically, I'm just really motivated. So like if I have a bad day gaming or streaming, or something doesn't go my way, it just like sticks in my head all night, and I just tell myself like, you got tomorrow, reset tomorrow, you know, work on it or try to get it done. Kind of like I always say, like I got the mind of a hockey player. Or not a hockey player, say a goalie. Like in hockey, when a goalie gets scores on, you know, he's got to just delete it from his brain and forget it happened, or it's going to affect him for the rest of the game. So that's what I always try to think of, is just like, something's not going my way, I'm just laying in bed thinking about it all night. I'm like, go to bed tomorrow's a new day, restart it and work from there. I actually tried to hit Predator in Apex Legends, which is a BR game, and it's the highest rank you can get. There's like only 750 people in the world at any time can be in the ranking, and then below that is a Masters, and people would tell me for the longest time I would never get the Masters. I wouldn't be able to do it, and I just spent like a year practicing for just forever. I barely even streamed, actually, because I just wanted to focus on being able to do it, and I just wanted to be the first person to do it. I wanted to prove all the people wrong. I wanted to do it for myself. My buddies would tell me, you can do it, we believe in you. And I finally hit Masters, and we had a huge party and celebrated, and then the next day I was like, maybe I can get the Predator. So, you know, and I tried a couple seasons ago and I actually failed, and I was just bummed, and I was like, I couldn't do it. I apologized to everybody, and, you know, everyone just made sure there's like, you know, like, dude, the fact that you even can play the game is insane, you know, don't worry about it. And it just wasn't your time. So it's something that definitely still haunts me, but I'm definitely, you know, the type of person that just resets their brain, and if anything doesn't go wrong, I just try to do a little brain reset.
That's fantastic. And yeah, definitely forgiving yourself or just seeing how it looks in the morning is always helpful. That's amazing. So people also kind of gave you, like, I guess, encouragement online to kind of get over it, or that you did great, or that, you know, what you did was enough. I'm wondering, I mean, I know there's your girlfriend and your natural market there, but are there any people who you've met through your platform that have been supportive of you and that maybe even you have like a real life relationship with now? I know you mentioned that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, definitely. My brother's definitely number one, like, when it comes to supportive, or like, yeah, I mean, he even played with me when I was doing it, so I had actual decent teammate. So he's always supportive. My buddies are always like, if your friends aren't supportive of you, then I always say they're not really your friends, you know. So you gotta have friends that are always supportive, or that want you to do just as good as them or better, you know. And if someone's in your community and they're not supportive, then, you know, they're in your community for a wrong reason, so you should probably just get rid of them. And everyone in my community is usually just amazed at the fact that I'm even playing video games, or that I'm even as decent as I am. And mostly they just want to play with me so I can help them win games. So mostly they're all just happy to play a game with me.
Looking ahead, do you have any future projects that you're excited about that are coming up for you?
Future projects, I have a couple things that I can't talk about, unfortunately, but there is some things that at the end of this month I'll be doing with a really big company that starts with a G. If that helps, you might use it to search on the browsers on the internet.
Oh.
So I'll be doing something with them that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
And then I just started doing some stuff with Dosado as a agent company. So we've been working on like some pretty cool partnerships with companies that I can do. It's just things I've never really done before, that, like, I'm not a very good business person. Obviously, the whole bad grade thing I told you about. So I'm always more of the I just game all day and make content type thing. I never really got to the business side of it. So I've been working on that lately.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing what you could. I appreciate that. And
yeah.
I think our audience
NDAs
will fill in the rest of the letters. But I get it. Totally understand. And thank you for sharing what you have. Last question. Obviously, thank you so much for coming on and giving us your Adventure TED Chat. It's an inspiration to see you work, play games, and to have this mindset and this attitude, and how you carry yourself is exceptionally impressive. And I know a lot of people will watch this and feel exactly the same as I do. So, Rocky, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an inspiration. We hope we can all keep in touch and keep doing the great stuff you're doing. Slay and slay.
Slayer slay, yeah.
Slayer slay, right.
Thank you guys for having me. Likewise, you guys keep it up. You guys are definitely doing way more important things than I am. So I'm glad to have a talk with you guys anytime.
Awesome. Thank you, Rocky.
Stay tuned for more Adventure TED Chat.